everyone, and welcome to today's Tuesday Transformational Talk. My name is Christina, and in this podcast, I wanted to talk about something that's incredibly important, and it's something that we all need and we seek in our lives: appreciation. Do you know that one of the greatest emotional needs that we all have, no matter who you are, where you come from, age, race, gender, is the need to feel appreciated? We often hear people at work say this all the time: I go where I'm appreciated. So it's true, and we often forget how powerful a little recognition and gratitude can be to someone, and how much we need to receive that as well. So, why does appreciation matter? Appreciation isn't just about saying thank you or giving someone a compliment. It goes much deeper. When people truly feel appreciated, it touches them somewhere deep emotionally and it connects you to another person. There are countless studies that you can go and Google that have shown that whenever an employee, a student, friends, even family members, when they feel valued and appreciated, they're more motivated, they're more happier, and they're willing to do and give a lot more of themselves. So think about a time that someone really appreciated you. How did it make you feel? It probably lifted your spirits. It probably gave you that extra push you needed to keep going, right? So I'm going to share a quick story with you guys. There was a time, I'm a single mother, for those of you who know, single parent. My daughter's 17 now. I've been raising my daughter since she was 18 months old on our own. And I was also an educator. And I was also a full-time educator in a classroom. I was teaching kindergarten, so a class of 30 plus, 35 or more 5-year-olds. And, I have a chronic illness. I am working full-time. I was trying to be, the single parent, trying to be present, trying to take care of home, all the things, trying to be the mechanic, the plumber, like you name it, all of it. All of you who are single parents, you get it. And I was just overwhelmed. It was a point where my illness started acting up and it was just hard to function. And in that process, I'm trying to do everything. And I just remember feeling a sense of overwhelm, a sense of, can I do this? I don't know if I could do this. Like, God, like what can I do? Like, help me. And my daughter, she had to be about 7. And I remember one day we were eating dinner together. And she looked at me and she said, Mom, she said, I just want you to know that I see everything that you're doing. You work so hard. I appreciate like everything that you're doing. You work, you help me with my homework. You read, we spend time together. And I just love you so much. And that level of appreciation, just like, of course it's my daughter, but it just also made me feel like in that moment, she saw the value in what I was doing. And she was only 7, so like first grade or something like that. And she saw it and she showed appreciation. It made me want to work harder for my child. It made me want to find those reserves to dig deep. And I did. And so that's the value of appreciation. And I can count countless other times too where, I've had coworkers who told me, how much they appreciated something that I did, or, something for me when, in leadership, when I'm working with people, is to always acknowledge something about that person that I appreciate. And it's got to be genuine for me. I cannot do fake and phony. A lot of us who, in our work environments, it's very surface level, the level of appreciation. And they're trying their best. And it's not always hitting the mark. And so, it can turn into being disingenuous very quickly. And so, having genuine, and I cannot stress that enough, genuine appreciation for someone is a connection for like on a deeper level with someone, because what it does is it basically says, I see you, and there's something about you that's great, and I appreciate that. That's basically what you're telling someone in a sincere way. It has been those simple acts of appreciation that has changed my whole outlook. Like, it reminded me that I'm seen, that my efforts are valued. It motivated me, it empowered me, because it also made me feel like there are other people who were counting on me, right? Because they appreciated, they needed me in some way, and I was making a bigger contribution. And so when we ultimately feel appreciated, we feel empowered to take on tasks. It's like we almost get superhuman. It reminds you that, you know, your efforts are seen and they're valued, and that you are making a contribution. Basically, that you have significance. And that is what every human being strives for. Ultimately, you strive to be significant or to make a difference in the area that you're, either your field or in your family. You want to matter. And that's what appreciation does. It helps a person to see in a simple way that you matter. And I'm acknowledging what you do. So it isn't just my story, right? It happens everywhere we go, to everyone we talk to. It doesn't matter. It happens every day in so many of our lives. When we feel appreciated, you can truly feel empowered and change things. And so that's why appreciation is important. I see you, I acknowledge you. To acknowledge a human being is the most intimate connection that you can have. I see you. And again, how do we show appreciation to others? Like I said, we have all been in the workspace, and I'm speaking specifically to workspaces because this is where the default tends to happen, where we go to this default performative appreciation without the connection. It just feels like it's not genuine. And the first thing I want to say is that appreciation for someone does not have to be a grandiose gesture. Most of the time, the smallest gestures are the most impactful and most meaningful, because we tend to overlook those. And they're easily hidden if you don't pause and you don't have enough of awareness to say, I see that, I appreciate that, I acknowledge that detail. So a lot of times in the workspace, what we get are performative gestures. And so because they're so grand, it comes across as performative. Because we haven't slowed down and taken the time to connect, it just really just feels icky. And, a lot of colleagues, it's almost to the point, especially in the adult space, that it's like, I don't even want it. Like, don't even give me an acknowledgement. And there's so many people that I worked with who used to be like that. And the reason it was cringy was because it was inauthentic and it was this grand gesture in front of everyone. Appreciation doesn't have to be in front of this. It doesn't have to be a grandstand. It can be just a moment where you go to a colleague or your wife or your husband and say, you know what, I appreciate so much that you work hard for our family, that you're providing for our family. I appreciate the fact that, I work hard, and when I come home, you have taken care of things. I know you're working as well, and it's hard for both of us, but I just appreciate that extra support and that I can count on. Like, it could be something that simple and often, right? Because you want to show people that I'm a firm believer in give people your flowers, or give people their flowers while they're here. And we don't have to spend flowers as for somebody's funeral. Acknowledge people and the good they do and how much you appreciate them in this lifetime. Like, you don't have to wait. It makes a world of difference, because people then feel, especially as a leader, in leadership roles, like I specifically intentionally tell people how I appreciate them. I speak to the gift that they have, and I let them know how much I appreciate them. And I had a supervisor one time who, she was kind of like upset because she's like, you don't need to always tell people how much you appreciate what they do. And it's like, but I want people to feel like I see them. I see the effort that they are making, and I genuinely do appreciate it. That's going to make someone work harder in a leadership role. That's the kind of culture you want to build, and that's the kind of people you want to work with, or people that you can show that value in being seen. So that was always confusing for me, but I just do my own thing anyway. So especially challenging in this world that we live in now. Like everything is going 20 times as fast. People don't sit down to have real conversations or real authentic, like anything anymore, pretty much. And so to have an authentic connection and showing appreciation for people can be a challenge. But I think that we miss an opportunity when we don't take that time. Because no matter how fast paced technology gets, human beings are still the same that we have been yesterday, and probably like just because technology speeds up does not mean that humans have caught up to that. And so I always find that funny when we're expected to do things that machines do, and we can't. We need connection. We have needs to feel needed, valued, validated. Nobody should make anyone feel ashamed of that. Of course, there's a healthy balance versus, when we start seeking validation that ultimately impacts a lot of what we do, hearing what other people have to say about our lives. But there's a healthy balance there. We just have to find a healthy balance. One thing I always say, especially when it comes to showing appreciation, and like I say, giving people their flowers, you don't know. And I'll share this story. This happened like years ago. I was teaching high school, and in teaching high school, there was a young man. I was, of course, on duty, hall duty. So, kids come in, you're just making sure that they go where they're supposed to go. So I remember this one student, and it's kind of a part of this, but it's kind of a little off too. But this one student I would say hello to every day, and that's all. I would just say hello to this student, just acknowledging this student, and just thank you, welcome, just being warm, like you would be. And I remember he wasn't my student, but you kind of get to know a lot of the kids just in general when you're especially in high school. They have friends who come in and stuff like that. And so this student, one day, he wound up going to his teacher, who was a colleague of mine, and the student had taken pills and took the pills and got scared and then went to an adult, thank God. And so was able to get him to the hospital, when talked to his parents about, why he did what he did. There were some other things going on there, but it was the pressure about his grades and getting into college. But the question that got asked, one of the parents came back to me later and said when he was talking to his therapist was, what made you change your mind? And what the child said, I will never forget. He said that myself and the other teacher said good morning to him. We said good morning. We talked to him, told him have a great day. And he heard that after he had, swallowed the pills. And after that, it impacted me to the point that it doesn't take much. I'm sharing that story with you because it doesn't take much to help somebody out. A lot of times we think we can throw materialistic things at people, money, a new house, a new car. And while all those things, are important, they're not as important as in saying a kind word or giving gratitude to someone. And I say that to say that taught me that lesson of always showing people or telling people how much you appreciate them, how much you're grateful for them. And number two, that you never know the state of mind that a person is in when you engage with them. And the thing that you say could be the difference between life or death, literally, in that situation. Had that child not had the mind and God divinely speaks to that child and remind that child of two people who I didn't know him. I knew of him. But the fact that I even said something genuine and kind to that child made that child change his mind. And that child's here today, probably a grown man with a family and doing great things. And so it doesn't cost much to be appreciative to people. It doesn't cost much to show appreciation to people. You have a mouth. We use our mouth for everything sometimes, but the right things, right? We either talking negative to ourselves or negative to someone else. Take a second and just Show somebody some gratitude. Tell them how much you appreciate them. It can literally, on how much you appreciate them, it can literally change somebody's life. So here's what I want you to do today. I just want you to think of people who have shown appreciation to you and how they made you feel. And then also think about somebody in your life, family member, a coworker, whomever, church member, your mailman, whoever. Who do you feel needs to hear appreciation? And make it sincere. Make it genuine. Who can you genuinely give that appreciation to and that gratitude for? It doesn't have to be anything. I mean, if you can't say it, you could write it, you could text it, you could send an email, however you need to communicate it. Just try it and see what happens. See what it does to that person and how it changes that person and makes their day. A lot of times, when showing appreciation, it's kind of like, you just don't know how much I needed to hear that today. I have said that, and I know that there are other people who said it to me, like, thank you so much. Like your Starbucks lady or the lady in the drive-thru fixing your food or whatever. Like, you don't know how much I needed to hear that. And so think about how you can show appreciation to someone and how that can positively impact their life. There's so much negativity going on. There's so much triflingness going on that, this is a contribution that you make. And if enough people make it, this contribution is simple, it's free. Think of where we would be. And that's not a Pollyanna dream. That's actually like, if we were nicer to people, then people would do a lot more. They would do a lot more for you. Back home in the South, you can catch flies with honey more so than you can with vinegar. And so it's the same thing. Like, acknowledging people and saying that you see them gives them a significance. And so that is something that's free. It doesn't cost. All right. So I want to thank you so much for taking this time to listen to me today in our Tuesday talk. I appreciate you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, just consider what it is that's being said. Like, again, there's so much negativity in the world, and I really want to give people something to think about and give people something to think about that's easy. A lot of times we think we have to be grandiose and we have to do these big things, where if you do small things consistently, you'll have a bigger impact. And remember that appreciation is a gift that keeps on giving. And so when you show someone that they're valued, you're not just lifting them up, you're also reinforcing the kind of world that we all want to live in. One where there's kindness, there's gratitude, and there's deep, meaningful connection. So I'll see you next time for some more positive vibes and growth. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit that notification button. That will really help grow our channel. Until next time, bye now.